these are the 10 iconic comedy movies I think everybody should watch before they die. There are lots of great comedy movies that didn't make it to the list, but we will have honorable mentions at the end of the video. I have seen almost all the great comedy movies, but I think these are the ones that deserve to be watched at least once in a lifetime.
Another take, huh?
There ain't no goddamn takes. Ain't no goddamn motion picture.
You sure?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
For certain, man.
Why are you still in character?
I know, but I don't have to tell you.
You don't know.
The 10th movie I think everyone should watch before they die is Raising Arizona. When I first saw this, I thought it was one of the craziest movies I'd ever seen. 20 years later, I still feel the same way. No matter how many times I view this, I shake my head in amazement at some of the things I see and hear. It's definitely one of a kind. The wacky characters and outrageous story, of course, are the attractions here, but I also enjoy the low camera angles employed here by the directors. The Coen brothers, and I've always enjoyed Nicolas Cage's strange dialogue in the narration. Everyone in this film, everyone but the little babies, are totally insane. Beginning with the lead people, the husband and wife team, played by Cage and Holly Hunter. I got most of my laughs, however, from the supporting cast of John Goodman and Bill Forrest as escaped convicts, Trey Wilson as the father of the Quints, and Randall Tex Cobb as Leonard Smalls. For a pro boxer, Cobb turned out to be a pretty good actor. If you're looking for something different, something really far out and funny, look no further. The 9th pick on the list is the movie sure many of you have never seen, is Napoleon Dynamite. Not sure how to describe this movie, it's beautifully shot. Napoleon is just funny, he's funny to look at, he's funny the way he acts and speaks. And everyone around him is odd and funny too. The movie has a definite look to it, from the wonderful opening credits to the long lingering shots. It's an iconic comedy that is very underrated, and I wish more people have seen it. The 8th movie on the list is a movie you probably have seen, is Superbad. I totally did not expect to like this movie. I figured it would be full of gross jokes and language that would only appeal to 14-year-olds. I was blown away by how much fun it really was. Michael Cera gets a lot of buzz for his role as Evan, but it was Jonah Hill and Christopher Mintz-Plasse that had me rolling. I especially liked the bit where Seth was in the liquor store. That was hilarious. Christopher Mintz-Plasse was also out there as the geek who was outdoing his buddies. With Bill Hader and Seth Rogen as wacky cops, the fun never stopped. But despite the repetitive joking about getting BJs, it really came down to a movie about friendship and the pain of growing up. It was tender and touching underneath all the juvenile humor. The 7th movie on list is one of the best Christmas movie of all time. Home Alone. Home Alone is one of the best slapstick comedies I have ever seen. The comedy is top-notch, the slapstick is fantastic. It's not just that, the direction, editing, and pacing are immaculate. And obviously, Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, and Daniel Stern are phenomenal here. I can't imagine them being played by anyone else. They are just perfect. Some of these edits wouldn't be in films like this today. But this movie is also delightful, dare I say, even a little heartwarming. It's the perfect Christmas movie to watch every year. Okay, the 6th movie on the list was Chaplin's last goodbye to the era of silent film, Modern Times. Part satire, part slapstick comedy, part melodrama. The great pioneer of film, Charles Chaplin, has created his own monument with this film. At the same time, Modern Times was Chaplin's last goodbye to the era of silent film, which, remarkably, had already ended almost a decade earlier. After nearly 80 years, this screen marvel still makes me laugh, cry, and think about the ongoing automatization of practically every trivial little thing in our lives. Modern Times, indeed. To me, this film is as entertaining and funny today as I imagine it was then, and it's certainly as relevant as it was then. This movie will always be 10 out of 10 for me. The 5th movie on the list is Borat. I wasn't sure what to expect when I first saw the film. I thought I would dislike it, with the poor filming and over-the-top sexual comedy. But as I watched it, I soon became intrigued. The thought that this man actually drove around America filming this movie. Knowing the reactions of everyone but the 2 main cast members were real. Certain scenes, such as the train scene, was filmed with hidden cameras as Borat interacted with the people on the train, or the rodeo, where the people were probably eager to beat him to death after what he said. There were so many times where I felt so bad for the guy and was cringing, knowing it was not going to go well. I understand that the main point was to show how wild a certain culture can be compared to our modern one. The mockery was great, creating a ton of laughing moments, but I couldn't help but feel bad for the poor actor with how everyone was treating him. It was a bittersweet film that surprised me. Uncanny, but a great 10 out of 10 movie. The fourth movie on the list is the time travel classic, Back to the Future. I love Back to the Future. While having a typical 80s feel to it, which I like, I love how fun, irresistible, and original the film is. The special effects are dazzling, and the comedy is suitably sly and sophisticated. Helping along the way is a script that is pretty ingenious, the sort of script that has quotable lines and also pokes fun at 1950s icons and lifestyles during the frequent bouts of time traveling. The score by Alan Silvestri elevates the sense of fun to a greater level. The main theme is one of the most memorable themes ever in the history of film, or so I think anyway. Robert Zemeckis' direction is very good, and the cinematography, scenery, and costumes are also excellent. And I have to mention the acting. Michael J. Fox is really appealing in the role of Marty McFly, the role that propelled him to stardom. And Christopher Lloyd is brilliant in one of his most memorable roles. And yes, this includes Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Professor Plum from Clue. Leah Thompson and Crispin Glover are also great. Overall, brilliant film that is good in so many ways. Okay, on to the top 3. The third movie on the list is my personal favorite, Tropic Thunder. This movie wouldn't get made nowadays. Funny movies aren't common anymore. But a few special people keep them going. The movie is packed with funny moments, especially the trailers. The actors are great, and the characters are hilarious. Tom Cruise is awesome as Le Grossman and really funny. The movie makes fun of method acting and Hollywood's self-centeredness. The action scenes are well done and add to the movie's feel. Ben Stiller is really funny as Simple Jack. There aren't many comedies where you can laugh for real. The makeup and fake body parts are amazing. The actors look totally different, especially Tom Cruise and Robert Downey Jr. This is how comedies should be. No rules, just funny. This movie is among those movies that can be watched more than once and gets better every time. The second movie on the list is the wildest comedy I have ever seen is Snatch. This movie is perfect in all its categories. Credits, soundtrack, production, casting, writing, photography, editing, acting, and direction. I was amazed with the freedom of the use of the camera. This movie will change the way movies are made. Slow-mo, stills, black and white, and color were all used to brilliant effect. Alan Ford as Bricktop is terrifying. His forced speaking style made me think that he was chewing on the flesh of his previous victim. Vinnie Jones as Bullet-Tooth Tony is total tough head to foot tough. A walking brick wall, a Marine for all seasons, none tougher. Brad Pitt as Mickey O'Neill is utterly 100% convincing. I never liked Mr. Pitt's work before this, but this one totally sold me. He is as solid an actor as ever came out of Hollywood and better. Everything about this movie is perfect. Okay, the first iconic comedy movie everybody should watch is the movie I think many of you haven't seen, The Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski is the type of movie that is so funny and so clever you want nothing more but to meet the Coen brothers, congratulate them personally for their unique talent, and get inside their heads and find out what makes these two geniuses tick. The main characters are Jeff Bridges, who plays such broad roles like the Muse, the Contender, and Seabiscuit. John Goodman, who should have won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his character. Walter Sobchak. Julianne Moore, Maud Lebowski, and Steve Buscemi, who is unique in every Coen brother movie. The first time I saw this movie, I will admit that I enjoyed it, but did not fully appreciate its level of humor and raw talent. I thought the middle section was a bit too depressing and long. But trust me, this is a movie that gets more funny every time you see it, even if it's your 1000th time seeing it. Its level of comedy, action, brutality, and vulgarity become that much more evident and important. The characters are brilliantly written by the Coen brothers, and likewise are brilliantly portrayed by the actors. The Big Lebowski is like no other film. It will make you laugh and it will make you cry. There is no other film such as TBL that is sharp and witty all the way through. One of the Joel and Ethan Coen's best, and one of the movie industry's best comedic film of all time. These 10 iconic comedy movies are, in my opinion, the best comedy movies of all time. But there are many great comedy movies that didn't make it to the list, like Step Brothers, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, The Hangovers, 10 Things I Hate About You, and more. What do you guys think about these movies? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section and go watch these movies because this video is over.